Hi, today we're going to talk about what I made in March. I don't have everything that I made in March with me because about a quarter of the things I made were for birthday presents. So to start, I made my brother a pair of patchwork overalls from some fabric that I got from the Goodwill bins. And I took all the blue shades and I pieced it all together to make just a big piece of fabric, and then I used that big piece of fabric to make him some overalls. He wanted a pair of like relaxed fit, like loungewear type overalls, so I used a free pattern from Mood. I will link it below, and I think it turned out really good. The only modifications I made to the pattern were I lengthened the legs because my brother is like 6 something, he's real tall, and I made the front bib, the pattern made it go in a V, and I made it go straight across. I just think that overall bibs look better when they're straight across and not as a V. That's just personal preference though. And then I changed the way that the straps were so that they were like a tie strap similar to Lucy and Yak's straps because I like the look of the Lucy and Yak overalls. And then I added some pockets to the side seams. That project went surprisingly quick. I think it only took me about 2 days to make, and that's great. I thought it was going to take way longer than that. I was able to give them to him last week when I was in his city for vacation. The second thing I finished in the month of March was my birthday dress. Every year I like to make a specialty dress that I can wear on my birthday. I don't typically do anything celebratory on my birthday except for wear a birthday dress. Dresses are like my favorite thing to make and also my favorite thing to wear, but I don't wear them very often. I saw Roberts Wood's Elysia bow dress when with Wendy made the dress out of her scrap fabrics. It looked so good. I love the picture of the bow dress on the pattern page where it's hung in front of a window and you can see through it, and it looks like stained glass and it's so beautiful. So I knew that for my dress I wanted to make it out of all sheer fabrics. So I raided my stash and found all of the sheer fabrics I could in varying shades of blue. Some of the pattern pieces were quite a bit bigger than I thought they would be, and it's not really like a scrap busting project like I thought it was. It's not really scraps, it's more like fabric remnants from other projects, but like that's the only fabric that I get because I get most of my fabric from the thrift store. I get all of my fabric from the thrift store, and so it's just other people's remnants. I didn't have enough of the first color to do it all just one color, so I just did two solid colors of blue. You can see they're right here. They're just slightly different colors. I love this dress. I'm gonna wear it on my birthday. I will insert photos of me wearing it. This pattern is pretty much prohibitively expensive, but I joined their mailing list and I got it on the anniversary of the pattern being released. And so I got 20% off, which made it a little bit more financially attainable, and also because I knew it was gonna be my birthday dress, I was like, I'm gonna do it because it's worth it. The construction process is very straightforward. So I sewed the seam together, and then I serged the seam, and then I top stitched the seam down, and I always top stitched it towards the bow. So it's all in this polka dot mesh part, has all the seam allowances pushed towards it. I used these push snap buttons instead of actual buttons. I am most definitely going to make another one. I was thinking maybe I could thrift like a duvet cover and then like a king size duvet cover and then make an entire dress in just one color, but with all these different seams. I think that would be so pretty. But I'm very excited to wear this on my birthday, and that is the second thing I made in March. The third thing I finished in March was these two cotton tops, a boxy fit with a rounded bottom, cuff sleeves, and then there's buttons down the back and an optional pocket. How I feel about this blouse. I guess I should first say I made these blouses as my sister's birthday present, and then we match because we're twins. So I made one for myself too. So mine is green and hers is blue. How I feel about this blouse is complicated. This is the only fabric I had in my stash that worked for this pattern. And I don't love wearing patterns like this. I prefer wearing solid colors. So this, it's very comfortable and it's very light. I am probably going to wear it a lot in the summer, but I feel like the fabric I chose was kind of a bad choice because it's, as you can see, it's very wrinkly, and I'm just not the type of person that's going to iron a shirt before I wear it every single time. When it comes out of the wash, the cuffs on the arms are all wrinkly. I should have interfaced them, but I didn't realize that this fabric was going to behave this way. So yeah, I'm probably just going to wear it at home because I don't got time to iron all my shirts before I wear them. The next thing I finished was this little box. I made this box out of plastic mesh. This plastic mesh, I got it at the thrift store for 55 cents. It was like, I think 8.5 by 11, like just a standard piece of paper size. And I just measured the plastic to the size that I wanted the box to be. And then I covered each piece of mesh in fabric and did a ladder stitch down the outside of every piece so that they're covered in fabric. And then I stitched it together along all of the seams. And I added this magnetic snap closure. And then I covered the ugly part of the snap closure with a bit of trim. The fabric I used for this was a set of napkins that my sister got me from the Goodwill bins. I love this print. It's very folksy and adorable. And this box I'm just going to keep beside my bedside. No pattern, but a really cute functional piece. The next thing I finished was the first thing I made from those napkins, which is a Tudor corset with lacing on the side. I used zip ties as boning, and then the interior is some scrubs. This is really cool. It is a pattern by Corset Pattern Maker. I'll link it below. They make corsets to your measurements, so you just type in your measurements and then it'll fit you, and it's really cool because it does fit me. I don't think I'm gonna wear this very often. This is the second corset I've ever made. I just don't wear corsets very often, but I really like the look of them and I do enjoy making them. I wasn't sure that it would fit me because I'm short-waisted, and the generator didn't ask for any like up and down measurements. It was only around measurements and then your height, and then they generated the pattern from that. This one is like, it only goes to your waist, so it was fine. It fits well and I really like it. Again, I don't think I'm gonna wear it very often, but I like making frivolous things sometimes. The next thing I made was I made 3 cord keepers to organize my cords because I have a bunch of cords I need to use regularly. I just used the edge of that napkin. It had a really nice yellow border. And then I sewed one end to one end of the cord, and it'll keep my cords from all tangling together when I put them in my cord pouch. Speaking of pouches, I made this quilted pouch out of the scraps from the napkin and a bunch of other projects, and it's pretty big. I made this to put all of my like office supplies in, so like my wireless keyboard, my wireless mouse, my pencil case, my cords, stuff like that. And I call it my portable office, and I just keep it by my laptop. This is again a self-drafted pattern. I finished all the seams and edges with bias binding, again left over from other projects. And then the batting I got from the thrift store a while ago, and I used it to make a vest for my dad, but I still had a lot left over, so I used it to make this pouch. The next thing I made was this little pouch. I crocheted it, and again, I didn't follow a pattern. I just made it to fit my external hard drive. I just got this It's like smaller than a floppy disk, right? Thicker than a floppy disk, but smaller than a floppy disk. And this is 2 terabytes of data that's on here. And that is wild to me. This is tiny. And so I was like, I gotta protect all this information. There's nothing on here yet. So I made this pouch and I made it out of crochet because then it's thicker. So it adds a bit of cushioning. I don't know if you need to protect your external hard drives. My husband laughed when I made this and I didn't ask why he laughed, but I like having pouches for things anyway. So even if this is extraneous and not necessary, I still think it's cute. And then this pouch can go in my office pouch. And then my office pouch is just filled with pouches. It's great. I love pouches. The next thing I made is this out of all scrap fabrics, a knitting needle organizer, and crochet hooks are on the end there. I really like this ribbon that I used. This I followed a pattern for. I will link it below. It's not like a printable pattern. It's like a measurement guide and then construction guide. It worked really well. It's really nicely constructed. I really like this. It's so nice. I was knitting something yesterday and I was like, wow, everything I need to make this is right here. All my knitting needles. I'm currently making a smaller one to hold my interchangeable knitting needles. Highly recommend that pattern. Relatively cheap. Came with 2 sizes and an extra pocket if you want. The last thing I made was this hat for my husband. The thing about this hat, it was a free pattern. I'll link it below. It's a bank head hat. I should have measured his head, but when I started this hat, I wanted to start it that day. I asked him to measure his head or to guesstimate what size his head was, and I guess he held up his phone in the break room and then just like measured around his head, and that's how I got the measurement for the sizing of this. It is too big for him. Phones aren't an accurate mode of measurement, so I don't recommend that. Another thing about this hat is the decreases happen way too fast, so it's really baggy right here, and it just looks kind of messy. It's really hard to see because it's black on the camera. You'll just have to take my word for it, I guess. It doesn't lie smooth, it's lumpy. I'm gonna knit him another one. I found another free pattern that the decreases are done from lower down so that it's smoother and it doesn't have this lumpiness at the top. This was good practice. Yeah. Something that I forgot is I also made my husband a wallet out of scrubs. So I don't have that to show you, but I'll include some pictures. I just made it with scrubs and then I used the measurements of the old wallet I had made him for the sizing and everything. It's a little snug right now for his cards, but it'll definitely stretch out. And that's everything I made in March. I hope that was interesting for you and I'll see you soon. Bye!